Um, her at is Kappa Dappa. Oh, she's live right now, so um, I just wanted to know. I just wanted to know, like, okay, you bringing awareness to it. Respectfully, what made you not show the whole entire video? Like, what made you not show everything? So, I mean,
step over the child to get to the parent, right? That's your enemy. You gonna step over the child to get to the parent, leave the child unscathed. Nah, y'all did that on purpose. Because the more that child hurt, the more y'all feel satisfied in what y'all did. Because y'all hate that man. So much so that anybody connected to him can be victimized.
they're just trying to do some fuck shit. Let me pull this back up. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play it one more time for the people who just came in here because there's people inboxing me and saying, "Can you play the video again?" Give me a second. Give me 1 second.
And I'll be here.
Hi, yeah, cool.
Go ahead. I'm just packing right now, so.
Hi, yeah, cool. Give me 1 second, and I'm gonna play the whole entire video for everybody, not just like the half ass. Like, well, this is technically half ass because the person who put it, this is what they gave us. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and rotate this. I'm gonna play the whole video. It's gonna be a long ass video, but whatever. So for the people who don't know, this is the baby mother. This is the ex. Um, this is the ex right here. And we're gonna watch this with no pause, with no interruptions, with no nothing, so you can pick and choose what you think, rather if you agree with us or not, because you have the rights to pick a side. Respectfully, I'm not gonna give you half ass of the story.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ali Jack. It's a nickname, but my real name is Alicia. I usually do some spiritual work on here. I am an empath. I do readings. I have psychic abilities and things of that nature. But today I wanted to share a story. So this past full moon, every single person, whether you know it or not, is experiencing some form of healing and letting go of toxic, karmic, unnecessary energies that God or universe, whoever you believe in, does not want you to bring with you. And in that, it exhausted the hell out of me. I don't know if anybody else can relate, but if you can, comment in the section what your experience was this past full moon, which was Sunday. In that, I let go of one of the most traumatic experiences of my life. I really fully believe that I was in a karmic cycle. If you don't know what a karmic cycle is, please look it up. I don't have enough time to get into it, but I could also share another video when it comes to that. But I released one of the most traumatic experiences of my life, which was when my son, and if you're going to judge me, please don't, because I'll just block you. Okay, because this is for healing purposes, as well as I know other people out in TikTok universe has gone through similar, if not, just similar experiences. So I released a grudge that I held for when my son got hurt. He was hurt when he was 3 months old by an ex-friend of mine, or at least that's my belief, because actually what ended up happening was 2.5 years passed, and we had to walk away not knowing what happened to my son. He is alive, he is well, he's thriving, he's good. But the trauma that we endured, my ex-husband and I, lasts longer, as well as my children. My children went through some trauma. They were taken away from me. I had to go through a 1.5 years of programs, things, Dices lied. There's just so much. There's going to be a part 2. All right, part 2. So my son, I come to find out that my son has 5 healing fractures. I connected with the babysitter because of what the incident occurred when I went to the wedding.
That video got kind of cut.
They investigate everyone. My kids are put into my aunt's care at the time. And we go on to be interrogated. I go on to be interrogated, being told, they're being told that it's my ex-husband, and, wanting me to give up information that I just didn't even know. I didn't know anything. I couldn't tell them anything I didn't know. So, I say all of this not for my business just to be out there, but because I'm trying to help others heal as well. I've been through some traumatic experiences that led me to be in a place of not trusting much of anyone, right? And I had to go on a journey of healing, which led me to here. But as I'm sitting here and probably wasting a lot of time talking about this, it's still hard. It's still hard to come out with my the story, my version of the story, and how things went down, because of how it was. I was numb for 2 years. I also got pregnant during that time and had my youngest son. I remember bits and pieces of when I got the phone call that I wasn't going to be able to have my son, and they made a mistake and realized that I wasn't giving birth till months later, but still put me through extreme stress during that time. When they lied about the numerous things that we said and twisted our words around, but it was our word against theirs. And it wasn't until I moved out of the county. I was living in Ocean County at the time. It wasn't until I moved out of that county and got myself out of there that my case actually closed. I had a caseworker in my face telling me that it was my ex-husband. Why aren't you waking up? Get it through your thick skull. Threatening me. I didn't trust my mom. I didn't trust my ex-husband. I didn't trust anyone. Not anyone. And by the grace of God, God got me through that day. So this is part 3. This will probably be my last part. Because it's hard. It's hard to get it out. During that time, I experienced several infidelities. My ex-husband was not as faithful as he should have been towards me. Again, we were put in a position, and I couldn't even acknowledge that at that time, to be honest with you. I think I was so numb that it just was another layer of trauma that I had to work through, or another, stressful situation that I had to work through. And I don't know if I have worked through it now. It's been years since that occurred, but at the time I did not. I didn't really address it at all. Not at that time. It took me till 2018 when I left them, and several more incidents that occurred for me to walk away. But that just goes to show, like, the trauma that occurred. Like this, I really believe my main focus was to get my children back. My main focus was to do whatever it took to make sure my kids were back in my care. And I felt so helpless and I felt so hopeless. So if you're out there and you're going through something similar, or you have gone through something similar, or you maybe aren't going through anything like this, but you can relate, please know you're not alone. I suffered in silence. I couldn't really, everything went to God at that point because I couldn't trust anyone. I felt helpless. I felt distraught. I remember being in my car just crying out to God to help me through this because I had no answers. I couldn't fix anything. 2:22 on the clock. And life really just sucked at that moment, you know, and I just had to really surrender to God and go through the flow. And I did everything in my own power, in my own strength, with prayer and perseverance to get my children back. They are healthy, they are happy, they are older, and they're doing well. So, all right, so fast forward to today. My ex-husband and I are co-parenting our children. We're in a good place. So again, by sharing these touchy information, I want to share to help other people to understand where I come from and to, like, you know, possibly give encouragement that you can get through tough times, that you don't need to succumb to them. But at the same time, I'm trying to be I have to be careful and mindful of what I say. I don't want to ruin what I have, right? So I'm going to allow him to come out with his side of the story when he wants to come out with it, if he ever decides to, right? But what I want to say is, case closed. We ended up moving in together because at that time we were not allowed to live together. I was left raising my children alone with whatever income I could, if I even had an income at that time. I don't even know. I damn near went homeless trying to raise those kids by myself. But we ended up moving in together. We started over, but it became too difficult. I was so used to raising the kids on my own. I was very strong-headed. I still am very strong-headed. He was doing what he wanted to do. And I do believe at that time he was still, infidelity was still going on. What I can say is that I caught on to it. And so we ended up going to counseling through the church for a little while, but it didn't work. And we realized that we were better off as friends. That's the nice version of it all. When I left my ex-husband, I didn't even know who I was. I literally felt like an empty shell. And it could have been because of the trauma that we had experienced, and then just going like back to back to back, trying to fix our marriage and trying to establish our family and raise our kids. And just, it was really difficult. It was really hard to leave him. I really didn't feel like I could be alone. So if you ever experience that alone, if you can relate to that alone, not the feeling of like being afraid to be alone, I did that. I moved my kids out to Howell, which is an area where I used to live, and I started over. And I ended up going on what you would consider a spiritual journey. I had a spiritual experience, and I ended up going on a spiritual journey, which led me to...
And they cut it. There's no way that was the end of that video. There's no
That
way.
wasn't. They cut it. They cut it. Yup. You're right.
There was no way. There's
You're
no way that
absolutely
was the end of
right.
that video, bro. There's
That
no
wasn't
way that
it.
was the end of the video, bro. There's no way that that woman, who all that time she had a nice outro before she went to the next.
Well,
No
look,
way.
no, but look,
But here's the
TV,
thing, though.
TV, real quick, TV. You saw when she was going on. She was getting ready to say another phrase, and it got chopped. Like it's obvious. Whoever chopped
Right.
it didn't even do a good job.
Here's the thing. When you watch this video, it's kind of confusing because the lady is talking all over the place, right? One, she admits herself that she wasn't even sure if he did it or not. She did not say that he did not do it.
Right. I mean, well,
Hold on.
say that. So
Let me finish cooking. I got you, Sobe. She never said that he did not do that, and they said that he did it. Mixing her words up could have been as simple as when she was talking about the fractures or whatever. But not one time did that woman say that they was trying to blame my husband for putting his hands on my child, and he did not do it.
yeah, TV. So that's what I'm saying, TV. So if you're married, right? Listen to me. You're married, right? And you have a kid, right?
Right.
If your husband tells you it's the babysitter, what you gonna do? Or your
It's a
wife tells you it's the
babysitter.
babysitter. Exactly.
Now, listen.
That's all I want to say.
Yeah, so listen. So now, think about it. After she goes into this whole thing, she goes into this whole situation of how he was treating her, mistreating her. It took her for a minute to start catching on to the things that he actually did, that he was doing, right? She already addressed the fact that he was a cheater. She already addressed that. So there's no purpose of saying, well, I caught on. You've been caught on. So you been knew he was a cheater, right? The fact is this. You can tell that she wasn't taken when she said that the people was telling her that all the things was leading to Genty and it wasn't the babysitter. Why do you think that? Why do you think that? Right? Kappa was saying things like she's a CPS, she's an investigator and all that. And just the part what Capper said was cool or whatever. But the fact is this, you also have people who are in denial when family members are hurting their family members. You see, if you're going to talk about both, this is what I talk about people being neutral. If you're going to talk about that, don't leave out the part that there are people who just can't believe that my uncle would do something like that.
TV. There you go. Thank you.
Now, you're saying that the courtroom mixed up the words. We don't know what words those was. But one thing I know for certain is when Patrick went over everything that they said about him, they asked him, did you read over everything with your attorney to make sure that such and such happened and you agree with this? He said yes. There wasn't no, I think y'all lying. I didn't agree to that. There wasn't no fight for it. What the fuck? Okay, something's just trying to happen. Okay, so the fact is this, right? If you really believe, that means you sat down with an attorney and went over all this shit.
They're going to blame the public defender
right?
now.
So here's the thing.
You hear me, TV? They're going to blame the public defender now, saying he didn't have a good enough attorney because he couldn't afford it and he's black. You know, they railroad him. That's what they're going to do now. That's the next move. Watch.
Right. So